Yeah,
Yeah, patience.
more so. I don't know if you call that like fate or just working in faith. That's interesting. Kit.
Hey, so I was typing about computer software development. Now I gotta switch back over my mindset to this conversation. Oh boy. So recap your last question because I actually had some thought provocation.
So simply put, if your plan doesn't go the way you planned it, at least in your head, or if you wrote it down, um, how do you go from there, right? Is it a failure, or are you one of those people that has like a mind map like I do, where you have three options and then those three options have six sub options, etc.? So it's just like, how do you handle your own little roadmap?
Okay, so through experience in life and things that I would also give as advice for those that are young, just getting into the real world situations and realizing that there's a whole mess of obstacles that are more or less where I call them my mine F's, but because this is recorded, I apologize for being me. So, generalizing, I try to take the emotion out because I unfortunately am an all or nothing individual. So and I usually get stuck in my head a lot because I liked doing your go abouts, Mary Beth, but because the way that we process things, there's a difference. I can process the same input that you're saying, like, okay, make sure you have three obstacles that you know for your outputs that you can choose from, and if it doesn't happen then you can do your hunting sequence. Sorry, I'm trying to get out. I got to get out of my freaking computer talk. Okay.
No, that
So
works. I understand. Some people have they operate like that, mentally. So go
Mhm.
ahead.
Okay. So unfortunately the exhaustion, because mental energy is, time is energy and time is money. And I am my all or nothing my battery runs low and I just feel like, okay, I just want to give up because it's not worth my time at that point. And that is a habitual rather than a processing statement. And I usually do the personally psychological personality typologies, which based off of the Enneagram. People use Myers-Briggs compass tests and stuff for your workload to know where you can fit yourself in a team environment and so forth. So I'm just using an example of the nine processing personality types at this point in time. The Enneagram goes for that we innately, you want to say the life situations is a cookie cutter situation. Everybody can be put in a situation, and why can't you overcome it? But everybody approaches it differently of how much mental energy is utilized for that situation. Now, in that point in time, I don't fit in most situations. So at that, we have to evaluate what our workload can be and try to minimize it the best that we can, or know what other personality types to lean upon. Another problem that we end up getting into is that it's not just the processing issue, it's the external environments that we place ourselves in or are subjected to in general. And I tend to know those habituals are a 30-day habit. When people say that you can retrain your mind, I always try to say, okay, give myself, the first week is always hard, and 20 days, 21 days actually, scientifically, 19 to 21 days is where you can break habits and create new habits. So I try to figure out what my personality trait bad habits are, and I try to overcome them, and I write them down. I put them in a journal, and the first week is always the hardest. Second week I might be good, and then there's always a fallback, but I try to keep on through to it for that 19 to 21 day segment, because life gets easier after that. You might not hit your complete goal and overall, but you'll be a better person. And after 30 days, this is science. You can fact check me, go ahead and look it up and try it yourself. But after 30 days, you develop a reprocessing, you build new neurons in your brain. So your neurotic pathways will actually create new emotions compelled that are triggered by your life situations, because a lot of the issues that we face are psychological.
Uh, Mic drop. 100%, right? Psychological. And the way we respond, to any situation, or how we think about a situation, it probably plays a major impact on our next step. I'm no professional when it comes to psychology, but I would assume that, how we think about a situation and how we feel in doing so definitely plays a role in that.